Hey y'all, it's Robert, and in today's video, I'll be showing you how to make chocolate ganache. It's a really simple thing to make, and it only uses 2 ingredients, and that's chocolate and cream. And you'll see that I pretty much use chocolate ganache in a lot of my cake decorating videos, especially if I use fondant or modeling chocolate. And then I'll also show you how to make white chocolate ganache, and then we'll color that too. So I'm going to start off first with making a 1-to-1. This is what I use for cake fillings or cake drips. For the 1-to-1 ratio, I have 1 cup of chocolate chips and then 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm gonna heat the cream up until it goes to a simmer. You can do this on the stove top, but I'm gonna do it the quick way and just put it in the microwave. Really, it does the same thing, and I find this way to be a lot easier and a lot less mess to clean up. So we're gonna heat this up until it starts to simmer, and then we'll pour it right onto the chocolate. So this is my heavy whipping cream. It's now hot from the microwave, so I'm just going to pour that directly on the chocolate chips. And I'm going to make sure that this completely covers the chocolate chip. So moving the bowl around just to make sure that they're all covered. And I'm not going to stir it yet. I'm actually going to let this sit because the heat from the cream will start to melt the chocolate, and then we can then whisk it all up. So the cream has been sitting on the chocolate now. So now I'm going to start whisking that together. I'm just going to start in the middle, make some small circles, and I'll start to see it come together. And then we're also going to switch over to a spatula at the very end just to make sure that we have all the sides scraped down and that there's no chunks of chocolate into this ganache. Now I'm going to switch over to a spatula because this is all pretty much combined. I just want to make sure I want to scrape down the sides and make sure there's no chunks of chocolate in it. The reason why I like to use the microwave as well as a bowl that is not metal, something that can go in the microwave, is if there were chunks of chocolate or pieces in here that weren't completely melted, you could put this back in the microwave just for a few seconds to get that chocolate to melt, and then just mix it all together until it's combined. And because this is a 1-to-1 ratio, this is really good for drip cakes as well as cake fillings. But whenever I use those for a cake, I want to put those in a bottle. It's going to make it a lot easier for me to do drips. So while this is still warm, I will transfer it to a bottle now. Okay, so here we have it. This is a 1-to-1 chocolate ganache. You can add this as a filling. Also use this for cake drips. That's why I really like the bottle. And you can also reheat it in this bottle if it ever gets a little too cool. That way it'd be perfect for a drip cake. So now we have a 1-to-1 ratio right here in the standing mixer. And I'm actually going to whip this up. So this is the exact same. This one has just cooled a little bit. We'll whip it, and then we'll also pipe on top of cupcakes. And you can see the different ways that you can use chocolate ganache. All right, so our ganache is all whipped up now. You can see that it is a lot lighter in color, and it's also really fluffy. So I'm just gonna add this to a piping bag, and then we'll pipe some cupcakes with it, and you can really see just the versatility of this ganache. So now I'm gonna start piping on the cupcake. Look at that, now you have really soft chocolate ganache. Look at that, it's so soft. It's gonna be so great on top of piping on top of a cake or piping on top of cupcakes. And this is that same ratio that you could use for a cake drip. All you have to do is whisk it up, and it's light and fluffy. There we have our cupcakes with our whipped ganache on top, and also our 1-to-1 ratio for cake drips and fillings. So now let's do the same thing, but we're going to do a 3-to-1, and this is going to be great for covering a cake with fondant or modeling chocolate. Now we're going to do a 3-to-1 ratio. This is what I use whenever I'm covering a cake with fondant or modeling chocolate. So I have 3 times the amount of the heavy whipping cream. So this is 6 cups of chocolate chips to 2 cups of the heavy whipping cream. And I'm just going to heat this up and then mix it all together until I get a really nice consistency. Okay, so this is our 3-to-1 ratio. It's now all completely smooth. So this is what I would use for those fondant or modeling chocolate cakes, but I have to make sure that this is cool before I can use it. It's a little too soft and it needs to set up a little bit. So I'm going to be covering this with plastic wrap. If I allowed it just to sit out in the air, it's going to form this kind of skin on top of it, and that's what we don't want. So with some plastic wrap, I'm just going to cover it, and I'm going to make sure that the plastic wrap is actually touching the ganache. Not just laying on top of the bowl. It needs to actually touch the surface of the ganache. Okay, so this is all wrapped up, and I can sit this to the side to let it cool so I can use it for a cake. But if you want it to cool a lot faster, you can also put this on the baking tray and stick it into the fridge for a couple of minutes. So now we're going to make our white chocolate ganache. This one uses a little bit of a different ratio. For the white chocolate ganache, the ratio is a little different compared to the 1-to-1 we did earlier. This is a 2-to-1, so this is 2 times the amount of white chocolate chips to the cream. This is already hot. I'm going to do the same steps, pouring it right onto the chocolate, and I'm just going to let this sit for a few, making sure that all the chocolate chips are covered. So the white chocolate ganache has now all come together, but you can see the color is a little off white. It's almost yellow. So if you wanted this to actually be white, you'd have to use white food coloring, but we're gonna make this a color, and I'm just going to add some blue food coloring to it. So it doesn't take a lot of food coloring in order to color this. I just put 2 drops of gel food coloring in it. And usually with chocolate, you don't want to use a gel, you'd want to use an oil-based food coloring, but because of the cream in it, it won't make the chocolate seize up. So using a gel food coloring would be just fine. So here I have this nice blue, and I will say, to keep an account of what color your ganache will be, keep in mind that it started off a little bit yellow. So if you want something to be a specific color, keep in mind that it's not starting off white, it's starting off yellow. So this is now all combined. Again, I would take a spatula, scraping down the sides of it to make sure it's all combined, but this is pretty good. And again, you can use this same ratio right here to do for a cake filling as well as a cake drip. I would just add it to a bottle if I wanted to use it for that. So that is all the basics for how to make chocolate ganache. So here we have our chocolate ganache all made with different ratios. We have a 3-to-1, perfect for fondant or modeling chocolate cakes. We have the white chocolate ganache here that you can color, make it different colors if you like, as well as a 1-to-1, and this is it whipped on top of cupcakes. So it's really versatile, different ways that you can use it. And be sure to check out some of the videos that I've used this chocolate ganache so you can really see what you can do with it. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.